For more on Argentina's economy, I'm joined by Raymond Zucaro. He's the Chief Investment Officer of RVX Asset Management. Thank you so much for joining us from Florida.
Thank you.
How much will the state of Argentina's economy determine which candidate becomes the next president?
Well, if you look at what the outgoing government, the Cristina Kirchner administration has been doing, she's really basically set the economic path to make an easy transition for the continuation of her party candidate, Daniel Scioli. She has, as your earlier commenter mentioned, the policies that the government has put into place they've been basically putting the problem out into the future. They haven't been addressing the issues, and they're trying to keep an air of continuity in the economy so the incumbent can win, or the incumbent candidate can win.
Well, the Kirchner government's inherited an even bigger economic mess more than a decade ago when Nestor Kirchner came in, made strides in the economy, but more recently the country has suffered from inflation and working to pay off its foreign debt. What will the next president need to do to get the country back on track financially?
Whoever wins the presidency has a lot of easy things they can do. And probably the easiest thing is solve the holdout crisis, or the foreign debt holders of the defaulted bonds. In terms of the ease, that would allow Argentina to re-enter the capital markets. Also, there are many price distortions that the government has allowed in terms of not raising utility prices, subsidizing transportation, subsidizing everything to soccer viewing on TV from populist measures. So the incumbent president can do a lot of things. Some of them are more politically palatable than others.
Well, as you mentioned, this dispute with U.S. creditors, Argentina considers them vulture funds, and the government is repaying its debt on its own terms. How much of an impact is that still having on the economy? And do you think the resolution can come at all? The vulture funds, as they call it, only 10% holdout.
Look, solving the Argentine holdout problems, it'll lower the country's risk rating. It'll, from the rating agencies, whether it be Moody's, S&P, or Fitch, will look favorably upon it. It'll allow both the government as well as the local companies to borrow at lower costs of funds. Argentina, again, to your previous segment, mentioned Vaca Muerta, the largest oil and gas field in South America. It requires a lot of investment. By lowering the country's cost of capital, by solving these debt overhang, it will ultimately benefit and produce multiples on the investment if Argentina can solve these issues. So the incoming president, is in their own best interest to solve these issues for the country and for the long-term growth of the economy.
How closely are foreign investors watching this election?
Particularly in the oil and gas field, quite closely. You've had a lot of foreigners that have both on also to other industries, telecommunications. Lots of foreigners are looking at Argentina. If you look at other countries in Latin America, Argentina has been outside of the capital markets really since the 2001 default under. So they haven't seen the excess debt borrowing that you're seeing in other Latin American countries, and there's been and most of the companies have repaid their debt. In terms of investment opportunities, a lot of foreigners are looking at Argentina. I am particularly.
So then what is your long-term economic outlook for Argentina post-election?
Again, the way I see it, any candidate that comes in will, whether it be in the Cristina camp or not, will solve Argentina's big outstanding issue of the holdout problems. And for me, as a foreign investor looking at Argentina, if you look at I look at Argentina as quite an unlevered company. I focus mostly on fixed income. And if you look at the foreign currency denominated debt held by foreigners, the debt to GDP of Argentina is 25%, compared to 50% in Brazil or almost 100% in Venezuela. From an opportunity for me, for an investment point of view, I look at Argentina quite excitedly. Once we get through this election cycle, I see a lot of investments both on the sovereign, quasi-sovereigns, as well as the corporate investments.
All right.